Hey guys, welcome to the Massive Iron channel. I'm Steve Shaw. In this video, I'm going to show you how to build the perfect back workout. Before I get into this topic, if you guys have any questions or comments, drop them down below. The best topic ideas I turn into videos just like this. If you guys are on Instagram, please give me a follow at Ben the Barman. And if you need coaching, that's what I do full time. I'd love to work with you. Check out the link below. All right. So in this video, I'm going to show you guys how to build the perfect back workout for you based on your equipment, your exercise preferences, etc. We're going to walk through 9 questions and they will help you develop the best possible back workout. So let's dive in. All right, so question number 1, and this is kind of the cornerstone question, the important question. Do you like to deadlift? If you missed my video yesterday about deadlifting and if it is a back exercise, please check that out. The deadlift is a wonderful back builder. It is kind of the cornerstone of back training, but you do not have to do it. If you're not a fan of the deadlift or it tears up your lower back, don't feel compelled to program it into your training week. You can also program it in, but you don't have to over-program it, meaning you could do maybe 20 to 25 reps max. Generally, when you look at deadlift programming, I recommend sticking to about 20 to 25 reps max per week. That's usually plenty. If you want to get a little bit less aggressive, you could drop down to 2 sets per week. That's absolutely fine. By keeping your deadlift volume reasonable, this allows you to save a little bit more energy for the rest of the workout and for the rest of your back training. Now, if you don't like the deadlift or your lower back doesn't handle it well, there's no need to worry. Simply fill in your back building routine by answering the 8 questions that follow. Now, if you're going to add the deadlift in your workout, I consider it a unicorn lift. You want to get about 10 to 12 weekly sets for your back. And then if you add the deadlift in, we're looking at about 12 to 15. So we're kind of adding it in on top of our normal back training. Understand these set guidelines are just that. They're a starting point. You can adjust things as needed. So if you do decide to keep the deadlift in, you can slot that in as your number 1 back exercise, and then you can still fill in the gaps with about 4 other quality back building exercises. All right, the next question, do you like pull-ups? Pull-ups is kind of the second exercise I look at when programming back. A lot of people aren't really good at pull-ups, but if you are, it's going to be the second exercise you consider to add into your back training week. Now, many of us, because of limb lengths and leverages and or body weight, are not very good at pull-ups. If you can do pull-ups, program in 2 to 3 sets of about 8 to 12 reps per week. If you get very proficient at these rep ranges, start micro-loading the weight. Don't be one of these lifters that just aggressively starts to load 25 or 45. Treat it like any other progressive overload protocol. Start with about 10 pounds when you add weight and then move up to 15, 20, so on and so forth. If you want to get a little bit less aggressive, you can move up by 2.5 pound increments. Now, pull-ups don't make sense for you. Make sure to add in another vertical pull variation like wide grip lat pull downs, V-bar lat pull downs, or both. What I like to do is alternate between them every other week. So 1 week I'm doing the V handle pull downs, 1 week I'm doing the wide grip pull downs. Both feel great on my lats, but I just like to work in a little bit of variation. All right, so we've kind of looked at the 2 big hitters or the 2 leading candidates, if you will, for back training, deadlifts and pull-ups. And whether you add those in or whether you don't, it doesn't really matter. Now we're going to move on to everything else. We're going to help you fill in the gaps of your back training. Question number 3 is an obvious one. What is your available equipment? Do you work at a commercial gym? Are you training at a home gym? What exercises can you do? You want to make a list so we can analyze it and pick out the biggest, most badass back exercises to fit into your training week. Make sure you do your research and consider every possible quality exercise variation. We're not trying to squeeze them all into our back training, but you want to at least shake all the apples out of the tree and find which big hitters are left so you can pick from the best of the best the exercises that work well for you. For the home gymmer, don't rule out variations like Meadows rows, inverted rows, seal rows, and chest supported rows. You could even do things like the lat focused row, or if you have a cable station, you could work in the isolation movement of like a lat prayer. Some of the other things you can do at home as well are dumbbell pullovers. That's a good finisher, a good final movement for your back. Now, we're going to dive into the nuts and bolts a little bit here. Question number 4, does your program have at least one horizontal row? A horizontal row you can think of as kind of the opposite of a bench press. If you are standing upright and pressing along the horizon, that's kind of why we call it a horizontal press and a horizontal pull. Now, horizontal presses, again, are like your bench press or push-ups. A horizontal row or pull is like a barbell row, a pendley row, a Yates row, a dumbbell row, a chest-supported row, a seated cable row, anything where you're pulling towards your chest. You want to make sure your program or your training week has at least one big hitting horizontal row. Potent horizontal rows, again, include barbell rows, T-bar rows, dumbbell rows, and any other movement that is pulling towards your chest. Make sure you put at least one of these into your training week. Now we're going to move to vertical pulls. The opposite of a horizontal press and a horizontal pull is a vertical press, the overhead press or military press, and the vertical pull. Now the vertical pull is basically something like a pull-up, a chin-up, or a lat pull down. You want to have one potent vertical pull in your training week. Potent means plenty of room for progression and also reasonably challenging. Now, potent vertical pulls include pull-ups, obviously, lat pull-downs with various handle attachments, and chin-ups. Again, you want at least one of these in your training week. So before we move on, you guys can see we've made plenty of progress in developing a good back program. We've looked at deadlifts. We've looked at pull-ups. We're making sure you at least have one big hitting horizontal row. And if you're not doing pull-ups, we have worked in lat pull-downs as your vertical pull. At this point, you can fill in the gaps with any other exercises you prefer to round out your training week. Now, we're not done yet. We're going to look at a few more questions to help you pick the best possible exercise selection. Question number 6, do your exercises have a solid progression opportunity? Are they something you can progress for a long period of time? Something where you can get very, very strong at over a long period of time? What does a solid progression opportunity mean? Do the exercises you picked allow for you to get a lot stronger on them than you are now? This is what's called a progression opportunity. Basically, it means you're going to get a lot of mileage out of these exercises. They provide room to grow. Exercises with a solid progression opportunity are generally highly impactful, meaning they're going to have a big impact, a solid impact on your back growth. Now, question number 7, this is an important one because back training, upper back training, and lat training has a tendency to tear up your lower back. Do any of the exercises you are looking at tear up your lower back? While it's important to have a quality variety of impactful exercises in your back workout, we want to protect the lower back. If exercises like the deadlift, barbell rows, or dumbbell rows are tearing up your lower back, it might be wise to set that specific variation aside for a while until you can bring up your lower back strength. We don't want you taking time out of the gym because of lower back issues. Lower back issues can also transfer over and impact any other form of posterior chain training. They can impact your squats. Lower back can also be impacted by things like the leg press. Depending on the sled type, the leg press can also beat up your lower back. And if any of these back exercises are hammering away at your lower back, you might start to feel some stress on the leg press. All right, question number 8, and this can be a controversial one, but you need to listen to this. Are you using grip support? Many lifters wrongly ignore the importance of grip support when training the upper back. Grip support allows you to better focus on targeting your back while reducing the reliance on grip. But some of you are saying, hey, I want to build a strong grip. Never allow a weaker grip to slow your back development. If your grip is an issue, train your grip after your back. We do not want a weak grip to prevent us from training our back at full capacity. There's nothing worse than trying to do a dumbbell row or a heavy barbell row, and all of a sudden you're focusing more on your grip than you are that back feeling. Finally, question number 9, does the totality of your back workout look effectively brutal? Repeat, does your back workout look effectively brutal? If you look at it, it's big picture time here. The upper back can take a lot of beating in both weight and volume of sets. Look at the totality of your back workout. Make sure it looks intense and moderately intimidating. Do you slightly fear? Are you slightly hesitant to hit the gym on back day? If so, you're probably on the right track. If your back day is filled with a lot of fluffy exercises, you may need to reassess and make a few changes. Now, a final point here. If you want to work in a few exercise variations, you can do what I've done over the years and work in A-B type of splits. What I would do basically on week 1 is I would do like a deadlift. On week 2, I would do a rack pull. So I'd pull from off the ground just a little bit to give my lower back a break. Now, my follow-up exercise was usually week 1, a pendlay row, and week 2, a dumbbell row. After that, I would do like seated cable rows and lat pull downs, and then maybe rotate in a 4th exercise after deadlifts, like the machine row or an inverted row. So you can kind of do some A-B splitting on some of these exercises to work in a little bit more variation. Whatever you do, though, don't go crazy. You want to hit an exercise like this at least every other week. You don't want to go 3 weeks between hitting the same exercises. So guys, in the comments, let me know what back exercises you use, what your back training looks like right now. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a great day.